I remember when everything felt perfect. My marriage. Our home. The life we built. It was what everyone expected, what I expected. No, it wasn't just expected. It was what should be. I loved him. He loved me. We had the kind of life that made people look at us and think we had it all figured out. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't I believe it? It was a Tuesday evening. I was at work, trying to wrap up a long day, my mind lingering more on what to make for dinner than the spreadsheets. On my desk. The phone buzzed, his name flashing across the screen, James. My husband, of course. I smiled at the message as I saw it pop up. Hey babe, you want spaghetti for dinner or something else? I can pick up the groceries on my way home. It was a simple question. So casual. But the moment I read it, I felt a shift in the air. Something? Off. I couldn't explain it at first, and honestly, I pushed it aside. It was ridiculous to think that there could be something wrong. We were fine. Right, I typed back, spaghetti sounds perfect. See you soon, love. But even as my fingers tapped the reply, the uneasy feeling in my stomach lingered. I'd been feeling it for a while now, and maybe it was just me overthinking. That's what I told myself. I think back now and wonder if I missed the signs. If I let the cracks stay hidden in the name of comfort. Things weren't perfect, not really, but I didn't want to notice. Over the last few months, I'd noticed the little things. He'd been distant, his late nights at work, the phone calls that he'd rushed to pick up in another room, the way his gaze would sometimes drift when we were together. I never called him out on it. What was I supposed to say? Hey, you've been acting different, what's going on? It wasn't a conversation I was ready to have. I remember the last weekend we had spent together, before everything went downhill. It was meant to be a peaceful, relaxing 2 days. I had planned a little getaway, nothing extravagant, just a quiet cabin by the lake. I'd been excited about it, ready for us to reconnect. But the entire time, he seemed preoccupied. The conversations we had felt forced. I had to remind him more than once to look me in the eyes when I was speaking. He wasn't with me. He was there, but he wasn't there, and that was when I should have asked the questions. That was when I should have said something. But I didn't. I didn't want to start a fight. I didn't want to risk losing the image of the life I had carefully constructed. Babe, I called out to him as I walked into the living room, phone still in my hand. He was staring at the TV, half watching a game I didn't care about. He barely glanced up. I stood there for a moment, the weight of the silence between us feeling thicker than it ever had before. Are we okay? I finally asked, almost sheepishly. The question hung in the air, and it felt as if it came from someone else's mouth. He turned his head toward me, smiling that half smile that used to make my heart flutter. But it didn't this time. Of course. Everything's fine, love. Why do you ask? I opened my mouth to respond, but nothing came out. What could I say? I couldn't even say what I was feeling, because I wasn't sure. It was too much, nothing. I muttered. Just tired, I guess. I didn't mention the knot in my stomach that had been growing over the past few weeks. I should have pushed him. I should have demanded honesty. But I didn't. I let it go, and the next day, we went back to our usual routines, pretending everything was fine. Looking back, I wish I hadn't. The texts continued throughout the afternoon, the normal exchanges about dinner plans and how our day had gone. But by the time the evening rolled around, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted. I waited for him at the dinner table, but he didn't come in on time. The minutes stretched on, and I felt my patience wearing thin. What had happened to us? Where had the man I married gone? My phone buzzed again. Another message. This time, it wasn't from James. It was from a number I didn't recognize. Hey babe, can't wait to see you tonight. I'm counting down the hours. You looked amazing last time I saw you. I froze. My heart skipped. I stared at the message. My fingers going numb. Who the hell was this? I stared at the screen, my mind reeling. I didn't want to believe it. I couldn't believe it. I glanced toward the kitchen, half expecting James to walk in any moment. But he didn't. The seconds stretched on. What was I supposed to do now? Was this really happening? Was this really my life? I felt the room start to close in. Everything I had built, everything I trusted, it felt like it was all crumbling. How had I not seen this? When he finally walked in, everything felt different. The air was heavy with unspoken words. He smiled when he saw me, but it wasn't the smile I remembered. It wasn't the smile that made me feel safe. Hey, he said casually, his voice flat. What's for dinner? I couldn't speak. My mind was too clouded. I held up my phone, the message still visible on the screen. What is this? I asked, my voice shaking. His face went pale as he saw the message. What are you talking about? He asked, his eyes darting away from mine. Who is this? I demanded again, my voice rising. He hesitated. That was all it took. The silence in the room was deafening. And for the first time in a long time, I realized just how much I didn't know about the man I had married. I was angry, so angry, but most of all, I was scared. I had no idea what to do next, no idea how to even begin to process this. All I could do was stand there, my heart racing, the feeling of betrayal burning through my chest like fire. Tell me the truth, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. He sighed, his shoulders slumping as if he was too tired to keep pretending. I'm sorry. I didn't want you to find out like this. But it was too late. And for the first time in a long time, I realized the truth. Everything had been a lie, the life I thought I had was gone. I never thought it would happen this way. I thought if I ever found out the truth, it would be in a way that I could prepare myself for. But life doesn't work like that, does it? No, it never lets you decide how you'll get hurt. I was sitting on the couch when I noticed his phone, carelessly left on the kitchen counter. He always did that, left it lying around like he had nothing to hide. Usually, I didn't think anything of it, but that day, maybe it was just my gut telling me something wasn't right, I picked it up. I don't even know what made me unlock it. Maybe it was curiosity, or maybe I was just trying to justify the nagging feeling in the pit of my stomach. I don't know. All I know is, I shouldn't have. The screen lit up with a message notification from an unknown number. The words jumped out at me like they were printed in bold, flashing neon. I miss you. My hand shook as I tapped the message. Open. My breath caught in my throat. Can't wait to see you again. The next message, this weekend was perfect. I felt a tightness in my chest, like someone had wrapped a fist around my heart and was slowly squeezing the air out of me. I read the messages again, just to make sure I hadn't misunderstood something, but the words stayed the same. This wasn't just a friend or a coworker. This was something else. I could feel it in my bones. A sick realization crept through me. My husband, the man I trusted with everything, was having an affair. I told myself I was imagining things. This couldn't be true. Maybe it was just someone messing with him, or a joke. I tried to laugh it off, but the laughter caught in my throat, as hollow as the empty space inside me. I couldn't deny what was right in front of me. I closed the phone, my hands trembling, and pressed it against my chest. The air in the room felt thick, like it was pressing in from all sides. I tried to breathe, but it felt like something was blocking my lungs. I couldn't think straight. What the hell do I do now? I whispered to myself. I walked around the house like a ghost, not knowing what I was looking for. The evidence was clear, and yet, I couldn't bring myself to confront him just yet. Denial was like a blanket, wrapping itself around me, protecting me from the harsh truth, but it wouldn't last long. I knew that. When he came home that evening, I tried to act normal. I asked him how his day was. Small talk. I could barely look him in the eye, but I forced myself to do it. Good day at work, he said, dropping his bag on the couch. Yeah. I tried to sound casual, but my voice cracked. Anything interesting happen? He glanced at me, his eyes a little too quick to look away. Nothing special. Just the usual. I nodded, but my mind was a million miles away. I felt the tension in my chest, like it was ready to explode, but I didn't say anything. I couldn't. Not yet. We ate dinner in silence. I couldn't even focus on the food in front of me, and I felt my heart racing every time he looked at me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the phone at him and demand answers, but I couldn't. I was terrified. Terrified of what it would mean if I was right. Terrified of losing everything. After dinner, I excused myself and went to the bedroom. I locked the door, sat down on the bed, and held my head in my hands. Tears threatened to spill, but I fought them. I couldn't cry yet. Not until I knew for sure. The phone was still in my hand, lying there on the bed beside me. I picked it up again, my finger trembling as I unlocked it. I scrolled through the messages again, looking for any kind of excuse, any way I could tell myself I was wrong. But the messages were clear. I miss you. My hand shook as I tapped the message open. My breath caught in my throat. Can't wait to see you again. The next message, this weekend was perfect. I felt a tightness in my chest, like someone had wrapped a fist around my heart and was slowly squeezing the air out of me. I read the messages again, just to make sure I hadn't misunderstood something, but the words stayed the same. This wasn't just a friend or a coworker. This was something else. I could feel it in my bones. A sick realization crept through me. My husband, the man I trusted with everything, was having an affair. I told myself I was imagining things. This couldn't be true. Maybe it was just someone messing with him, or a joke. I tried to laugh it off, but the laughter caught in my throat, as hollow as the empty space inside me. I couldn't deny what was right in front of me. I closed the phone, my hands trembling, and pressed it against my chest. The air in the room felt thick, like it was pressing in from all sides. I tried to breathe, but it felt like something was blocking my lungs. I couldn't think straight. What the hell do I do now? I whispered to myself. I walked around the house like a ghost, not knowing what I was looking for. The evidence Was clear, and yet, I couldn't bring myself to confront him just yet. Denial was like a blanket, wrapping itself around me, protecting me from the harsh truth, but it wouldn't last long. I knew that. When he came home that evening, I tried to act normal. I asked him how his day was. Small talk. I could barely look him in the eye, but I forced myself to do it. Good day at work, he said, dropping his bag on the couch. Yeah. I tried to sound casual, but my voice cracked. Anything interesting happen? He glanced at me, his eyes a little too quick to look away. Nothing special. Just the usual. I nodded, but my mind was a million miles away. I felt the tension in my chest, like it was ready to explode, but I didn't say anything. I couldn't. Not yet. We ate dinner in silence. I couldn't even focus on the food in front of me, and I felt my heart racing every time he looked at me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the phone at him and demand answers, but I couldn't. I was terrified. Terrified of what it would mean if I was right. Terrified of losing everything. After dinner, I excused myself and went to the bedroom. I locked the door, sat down on the bed, and held my head in my hands. Tears threatened to spill, but I fought them. I couldn't cry yet. Not until I knew for sure. The phone was still in my hand, lying there on the bed beside me. I picked it up again, my finger trembling as I unlocked it. I scrolled through the messages again, looking for any kind of excuse, any way I could tell myself I was wrong. But the messages were clear. I miss you. It felt like my chest was going to collapse. How could he do this to me? How long had this been going on? I could hear him moving around in the kitchen, talking on the phone to someone. His voice sounded distant, muffled. I stood up, pacing back and forth, my mind racing. I had to confront him. I had to get the truth, but how could I? How could I ask him, knowing what I already knew? The door opened, and there he was. Standing in the doorway, looking at me with a tired expression. What's going on? His voice was soft, concerned. You look like you've seen a ghost. I wanted to yell at him, to throw everything in his face. But instead, I just stared at him, trying to hold myself together. I swallowed hard. I know. His brow furrowed, and for a moment, I thought I saw panic flicker in his eyes. But it was gone so quickly that I couldn't be sure. You know what? He asked, his voice widening. I walked toward him, my hands still shaking. I felt like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, and any step forward would send me tumbling into the unknown. I know about her. The words tasted bitter on my tongue. He froze. What are you talking about? He asked, his eyes widening. I walked toward him, my heart racing. I know about the messages. His face drained of color, and for a second, he looked like he might fall. You don't understand, he started, but I couldn't hear him. The words felt like a muffled echo in my ears. Don't lie to me, I snapped, the anger finally bubbling to the surface. I know, James. I know you're having an affair. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. For a moment, it was like time stood still. I can't believe this, I whispered, my voice cracking. After everything we've been through. How could you? His eyes shifted away from mine, guilt written all over his face. I didn't mean for it to happen, he said softly. I never wanted to hurt you. I felt a wave of nausea hit me, and I backed away from him. I couldn't stand to be near him, to hear his excuses. Don't, I said, holding my hand up. Just don't. I turned and walked toward the door. I needed to get away from him, away from everything, but before I could leave, I heard him call my name. Please, don't go, he pleaded. We can fix this. I swear we can. I stopped at the door but didn't turn around. I couldn't. I don't know if I can ever forgive you for this, I whispered. I don't know if I can ever trust you again. And with that, I walked out. I couldn't keep it in anymore. The rage, the hurt, the confusion, I couldn't swallow it down any longer. My heart was pounding, my hands shaking as I stood in front of him. He had no idea what was coming. James, I said, my voice shaking with anger. I wanted to scream, to rip him apart with my words, but I knew I had to get it all out. How long? He turned to face me, and for a split second, his expression was like a deer caught in headlights. His lips parted, and then he shut them quickly, as if trying to hold back whatever lie he was about to say. I stepped closer, glaring at him. How long have you been doing this? With her? Who is she? He didn't answer right away. That was enough. I could feel the rage building inside me. I wanted to hit him, scream at him, but instead, I kept my voice steady. Barely. His words faltered, his eyes shifting to the floor. It's not like you think, okay? I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I let out a bitter laugh. You didn't mean for it to happen? Really? So, what? You just accidentally fell in love with someone else? He hesitated, eyes darting away from mine, like he was searching for the right thing to say, but I knew there was nothing that could fix this. Nothing he could say that would make me forget what I knew. No, it wasn't like that, he said, his voice low, almost defensive. It's complicated, okay? I didn't mean to hurt you. Complicated? This was not complicated. I could feel the anger rising in me again. Complicated? I snapped. You've been lying to me for who knows how long, and you call this complicated? I threw my hands up in frustration, pacing across the room. How could you do this? To me? How could you betray me like this? He took a step forward, reaching out, but I jerked away before he could touch me. His face twisted, that mixture of guilt and indifference that made my skin crawl. Please, he said softly, it wasn't supposed to be like this. No. I cut him off, my voice rising, louder now. Don't try to make excuses. I don't want your apologies or your half-assed explanations. I want the truth. What do you want from me, James? Do you even care about me anymore? Is she everything you want now? His eyes narrowed, and for the first time, I saw a flash of something in his gaze that made my stomach turn. It wasn't regret. It wasn't sorrow. It was something else. Something colder. I never meant for any of this to get out of hand, he said, the words almost too rehearsed. I still care about you, but what? I shouted, cutting him off again. But you're in love with someone else? Is that it? He winced at my words, and the look in his eyes told me everything I needed to know. He wasn't sorry. Not really. He was just sorry that he'd gotten caught. I don't want to hurt you, but you need to understand, he said slowly, his voice laced with frustration. This isn't black and white. There's so much more to it than you know. I could feel my chest tightening, my heart pounding in my ears. What more is there, James? What more could there possibly be? I could barely speak through the lump in my throat. You've been lying to me, sneaking around behind my back, and you think I'm supposed to just understand? I didn't mean for this to happen, he repeated, his voice so calm it made me sick. Things got out of hand. I never wanted it to hurt you like this. Things got out of hand? Was that his excuse? I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was drowning, suffocating under the weight of his words. You keep saying that. I whispered, my voice trembling now. But it doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make any of this okay. He sighed, running a hand through his hair, clearly frustrated with the conversation. Look, I don't expect you to understand right now. Please, just try to see it from my perspective. Your perspective? I spat. You're telling me to understand your perspective? What about my perspective, James? What about what this is doing to me? He stood there, silent. I could see him trying to find the right words, but I didn't want to hear any more lies. Do you even love me anymore? The question slipped out before I could stop it, and his eyes widened, as if the words had taken him by surprise. He faltered. Of course I do. I'm confused right now. Confused? I laughed bitterly. You're confused? I felt a tear slip down my cheek, but I quickly wiped it away. I don't think you're confused. I think you made your choice. And it wasn't me. He stared at me, that mix of guilt and indifference still in his eyes, but now it was like he was looking right through me. He wasn't even trying to convince me anymore. It was like the fight had gone out of him. Please, don't say that. He said quietly. You're making this harder than it has to be. I couldn't hold back the sob that escaped my chest. The anger, the hurt, everything I had been holding inside came crashing out all at once. You don't get to say that. To me. You don't get to make this easier for me, James. You've destroyed everything. You've destroyed us. He took a step closer, but I stepped back, shaking my head. I couldn't bear to let him touch me right now. I can't do this anymore, I said, my voice breaking. I can't keep pretending like everything's fine when you're out there with her. I didn't mean for this to happen, he repeated again, like a broken record. No, I whispered, tears streaming down my face now. You didn't mean for it to happen, but it did. And now, I can't unknow what I know. I can't unsee you for who you really are. The room felt like it was closing in on me. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. I just had to get away. From him. Away from the lies. Away from the man who had once been my whole world, but who was now nothing more than a stranger. I turned and walked out of the room without another word, my heart in my throat. I felt numb, but the pain was still there, deep inside, gnawing at me. The betrayal. The lies. I didn't even realize I was crying until I reached the car. The sobs came in ragged waves, and I barely made it behind the wheel before I was shaking so badly I could hardly see through my tears. I had asked for answers, and all I had gotten was more lies. He was never going to change. He was never going to be the man I needed him to be, and now, it was too late. I stared out the windshield, my body trembling, my heart shattered. This was my life now. This was my reality. It felt like a nightmare. But I couldn't wake up from it. The silence in our house is deafening. The kind of silence that fills every room, thick and suffocating. He's still here. I can hear him moving around, shuffling through things, but it feels like he's a stranger. The man I married, the man I thought I knew, doesn't exist anymore. Not like this. I can't look at him. Not without seeing the betrayal in his eyes. Every time I do, it feels like a punch to the stomach. It's like I'm looking at a ghost, someone who used to mean everything to me, but now, I don't know who they are. The house feels different now. Cold. Empty. Foreign. The place that was once supposed to be our home, a sanctuary, now feels like a prison. I can't stand the way it smells, the way it feels. The walls seem to close in on me, suffocating me, and every corner reminds me of what happened. I don't know how to breathe here anymore. I've started to withdraw. I don't want to be near him, but I can't leave. The house is still his. It's still ours. But I'm already gone. I'm retreating into myself, burying everything I'm feeling beneath layers of rage, disbelief, and a deep, aching sadness. The anger is always there, bubbling under the surface. I feel it in the pit of my stomach, a tight knot of fury that refuses to let go. How could he do this to me? I want to scream it at him, ask him over and over again until my voice gives out. But what's the point? The answers won't change. They never do. Are you okay? He asks one evening, and I almost laugh at the absurdity of it. He hasn't even apologized properly, not really. Not in a way that means anything. And now he's asking if I'm okay. I look at him, my eyes cold, my lips pressed into a thin line. Do I look okay? I don't even recognize my own voice anymore, strained, like it's fighting against itself. He flinches at my tone, but I don't care. I want him to feel it. I want him to feel the weight of what he's done. I'm just asking, he says. His voice barely above a whisper. I know things are difficult right now, but I want to help. Help? The word feels like acid in my mouth. You want to help? I take a deep breath, trying to keep myself together, but the anger is like a fire in my chest. You can't fix this, James. You can't fix what's broken. I never meant for any of this to happen, he says again, the same damn words. Over and over. But they don't mean anything anymore. I don't even want to hear them. I turn away from him, walking into the kitchen, as if the distance between us will somehow ease the ache. I don't want to talk. I don't want to listen. I just want to be left alone, but he follows me. Of course, he does. I'm sorry, he says, his voice cracking now. I'm so sorry. I know I messed up, and I don't know how to make it right. But I want to try. I want to fix things. You can't fix this, I say flatly, my back still to him. It's not something you can fix. It's done. Over. I feel him take a step closer, and I brace myself. I don't want him near me. I don't want his touch. But he reaches for my arm, his fingers grazing my skin, and I flinch away. Please, he begs. I love you. I never stopped loving you. I don't care, I snap, my voice trembling with the force of my emotions. Don't you get it? You broke me. And now, nothing you say matters. For a moment, it's quiet. I can hear his breath, shallow and uneven, but I don't turn to face him. I can't. I'm scared if I do, I'll break down completely, but the silence only lasts a second. I never wanted to hurt you, he says softly. I swear, I didn't. You have to believe that. I spin around to face him, my chest tight with emotion. Believe what? That you were just caught up in it? That you didn't mean it? Do you really think I'm that stupid? My voice cracks, and I hate myself for it. But I can't stop. You don't get to do this to me, James. You don't get to tear us apart and then expect me to just forget. He looks at me, his face filled with that pathetic look of guilt. I know I messed up. I don't know how to make it up to you, but I'll do anything. Anything? I laugh bitterly, my eyes filled with tears that I refuse to let fall. You already did everything, James. You already destroyed us. What's left? He takes a step back, and I watch him. I can see the panic in his eyes now, the fear that I might actually be done with him. I don't know what to do, he says softly, the words slipping out in desperation. Please don't give up on us. But I already have. The moment I found out, I gave up. I just didn't know how to say it yet. I'm not giving up on us, I say, my voice hollow. You did that. I leave him standing there, broken and confused, as I walk out of the room. I can't be around him anymore. I can't stand the way he's looking at me, the way his guilt hangs in the air like a cloud of smoke. I retreat into the bedroom, shutting the door behind me. I don't want to feel anything anymore. Not for him. Not for this house. Not for any of it, but even as I lie down on the bed, I can't escape the storm inside me. The emotions are swirling, crashing into each other, anger, sadness, guilt. I want to feel something other than this empty ache, but I can't. I don't know how. Every interaction with him feels like I'm drowning. Each word, each touch, it all feels hollow. I don't know who he is anymore, and I'm terrified that I'm starting to forget who I am too. I just want the pain to stop. But it doesn't. And it won't. I couldn't stop. I couldn't breathe. Without needing to know more. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his face, the same face I used to trust, lying to me. Every night, I lay awake, the silence around me deafening, but in my head, there was only one thing. What else is he hiding? I started small at first. The phone. I'd never done this before. I'd never thought I would. But I couldn't help myself. I unlocked it, and there it was, the trail he'd left. Texts, calls, emails. All of them so innocent on the surface. But underneath, I could see the cracks. I could feel it. You didn't mean to hurt me, I whispered to myself as I read the messages for the 5th time. His words, his lies. They all blurred together. Just one more time, I said, convincing myself that I could stop. But I couldn't. Each message made the truth sink deeper, twisting in my gut. I was spiraling. I knew it. I could feel it. I couldn't stop going through his things. His jacket pocket. His desk drawer. The receipts. The notes. His deodorant and shampoo, both different, his scent lingering on them like a ghost of what used to be ours. It was like I was looking for answers, but all I was finding was more pain. It started to consume me. The need to know more. The need to find that one piece of evidence that would finally make it all make sense. I couldn't stop myself. I couldn't think straight. Every time I looked at him, the image of him with her, the other woman, played in my mind. I felt sick. I felt crazy. When he walked in the door one evening, I was sitting at the kitchen table, staring at the phone in front of me like it was a lifeline I couldn't pull myself away from. "Hey," he said softly, his voice too calm, like he wasn't even aware of what was happening in my head. "How was your day?" I didn't answer right away. I just stared at him. I knew I shouldn't say anything. I shouldn't ask again. But I couldn't help myself. "Who is she?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Who is she, James?" He didn't flinch. He didn't even hesitate. "What are you talking about?" he said, his voice full of that same pity I was starting to resent. The pity that made me feel like I was the one who was losing my mind. "You know what I'm talking about," I spat, standing up from the table, the chair scraping across the floor. "You think I don't know, but I do. I know about the messages. I know about her. What's going on, James? Who is she?" He sighed like I was being unreasonable. "It's nothing like you're imagining, okay? You're overreacting." I felt a sharp sting in my chest. Overreacting. How many times had he said that before? It made me question myself. Was I overreacting? Was I too sensitive? Was I blowing this out of proportion? "You're overreacting?" I repeated, my voice shaking. "You're telling me I'm overreacting when you've been lying to my face for months? You're still lying to me, James." His face twisted, the anger barely hiding behind that thin layer of control he tried to maintain. "I'm not lying. You just don't understand. This is a complicated situation, and you're making it worse." I wanted to scream at him. I wanted to slap him across the face, to make him see what he was doing to me, to us. But instead, I just stood there, feeling like the world was closing in on me. The walls, the air, everything was suffocating. "I don't understand?" I asked. Incredulous. How could I possibly not understand? "You're having an affair, and I'm supposed to just sit here and understand?" His gaze softened, and he stepped closer, reaching out to me. "Please, calm down. This isn't helping." I jerked away, the anger coursing through me like fire. "No, you don't get it, James. You don't get to gaslight me. You don't get to make me feel like I'm the one who's lost it. You've already broken me. You've already destroyed everything, and now you're acting like I'm the crazy one." "I'm not saying that." His tone was so patient, so measured. But all I could hear was the lie in his voice. The same lie that had been there from the start. "You're not saying that, but you're making me feel like it," I shot back, my voice low, trembling with rage and fear. "Why, James? Why her? What did I do wrong? Wasn't I enough for you?" He looked away, unable to meet my eyes. "It's not about you, okay? It never was. I'm just what?" I demanded. "Just selfish? Just weak? Just broken?" His face was unreadable now. That same mask he had perfected so many years ago. The mask that made him seem so normal when everything inside of me felt like it was falling apart. "You don't understand," he said, his voice tight. "You just don't get it." I backed away from him, every inch of my being screaming to get out of that room, to escape. But I couldn't move. I couldn't leave. I was paralyzed, frozen by the feeling that everything I thought I knew was a lie. "I don't get it," I whispered, my voice cracking. "I don't get it, but you do? You're the one who did this. You're the one who destroyed everything. You're the one who's been lying." I couldn't look at him anymore. I couldn't stand it. I turned, walking out of the kitchen and into the living room, my breath ragged and uneven. I couldn't think. I couldn't breathe. I started pacing, running my hands through my hair. I needed to calm down. But the more I thought about it, the more the walls felt like they were closing in on me. His lies, his pity, his coldness, it was all too much. I walked back into the kitchen. I had to face him again. I couldn't let him leave without admitting the truth. I needed it. I needed to hear it from him. James, I said, my voice trembling with raw emotion. I need you to tell me the truth. All of it. Don't lie to me anymore. Don't hide behind your excuses. Tell me what happened. He stood there for a long moment, silent. Then he spoke in a voice so soft I could barely hear it. I can't fix this, can I? I don't think you ever wanted to, I said, my words barely above a whisper. The silence stretched between us, suffocating us both. I wasn't sure what was real anymore. Was he sorry? Was I overreacting? Maybe I was the one losing my mind. The doubt gnawed at me, but I refused to let it consume me. Not this time. I was done being the one who was wrong. I've reached my breaking point. It's strange how it happens, isn't it? 1 minute, you're drowning, consumed by the weight of everything falling apart, and the next, something shifts inside you. It's like a light turning on in the dark, a tiny flicker of clarity in all the mess. I don't know when it happened. Maybe it was the nights I spent staring at the ceiling, trying to make sense of his lies, trying to understand why I'd allowed myself to be this small for so long. Maybe it was after that last fight when his apologies, his excuses, felt like knives instead of comfort. Or maybe it was when I realized that nothing he could say would ever change the fact that I felt worthless in this relationship. But today something snapped. I'm done, James, I say, my voice steady. I'm standing in the kitchen, the sunlight coming through the window casting a soft glow on the counter. It's almost too perfect, too calm. I don't feel calm, but the stillness is deceiving. I don't need you to fix this. He looks up from his phone, surprised. What are you talking about? His voice has that same apologetic edge, the one I used to welcome. Now, it just grates on my nerves. I don't need you to fix it, I repeat, taking a deep breath. I've been waiting for you to fix it for weeks, James. But you can't. You won't. You've already destroyed it. His eyes narrow, and for a second, he seems genuinely confused. What do you mean? I've been trying, okay? I've apologized, no, I cut him off, shaking my head. You've been trying to fix you. Not us. And I've been letting you pull me down into this hole with you. I see the flicker of guilt in his eyes, but it's too little, too late. His words used to mean something to me, but now they feel hollow, empty, as if they're just a script he's been reading over and over. You don't get it, do you? I ask, my voice louder now. I don't need you anymore. I don't need you to make me feel like I'm not enough. I've spent so long waiting for your validation, for you to love me, and it's never going to happen. Not the way I need it. He stands up, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. That's not fair, he says, his voice tight with frustration. You know I'm trying, but this is hard. We're both hurting. Stop. I don't yell. I don't need to. I can feel the power in my voice, in the way I stand here now. You don't get to tell me that anymore. You don't get to manipulate me with your guilt trips. You don't get to make me feel sorry for you, James. I am the one who's been hurting. He stares at me for a moment, like he's trying to process my words. But he doesn't get it. He doesn't get that I'm not the same woman who let him lie to me for months. I'm not the woman who begged him for attention, for affection. I'm different now. Maybe you should leave, I say, my voice quieter now. But the calmness of my words makes them hit harder. You need to leave. You're not helping me. You're not helping us. You're just feeding this endless cycle. He doesn't say anything for a moment. He just stares at me, his eyes flicking back and forth like he's trying to figure out what's happening. I don't give him the chance to speak again. I don't need you to define me, I say, more to myself than to him. I don't need your approval. I don't need to live in this shell of a life anymore, waiting for your crumbs of affection. His jaw clenches, and for a second, I wonder if he's finally getting it. But I don't care. I'm not asking you to leave, I continue, the words tumbling out before I can stop them. I'm telling you. Because I'm done being this version of myself. I'm done playing this game where I'm constantly waiting for you to love me back the way I've wanted. I can't do this anymore. I watch him as he stands there, frozen, his face a mixture of anger, disbelief, and what looks like guilt. But it doesn't matter, I'm going to focus on me now. I say, turning away from him. I feel the weight in my chest, but this time it's different. It doesn't crush me. It just gives me strength. I'm going to rebuild, quietly. I'm going to find myself again. I'm going to do it for me. For my kids. I'm done letting you make me feel like I'm less than I am. I can feel the shift inside me. I feel a quiet, steady resolve growing within, like a spark that refuses to be snuffed out. He doesn't deserve to define who I am anymore. He doesn't get to break me any longer. Do you think you can just forget about us? His voice is low now, tinged with that same defensiveness. After everything we've been through? You think you can just walk away from this? I turn back toward him, my gaze hard, my eyes clear for the first time in what feels like forever. I'm not walking away from anything. I'm finally standing up for myself. I'm not staying here to be broken by your mistakes anymore. I can see the realization start to dawn on him. He doesn't know how to react to me now. He's used to the version of me that apologized, that begged, that waited for him to change. But that woman is gone. And I don't think he can handle that. I'm going to be okay, I say, my voice steady, stronger than it has ever been. You don't get to break me anymore. Not like this. Not anymore. For a moment, neither of us speaks. The weight of my words hangs heavy in the air, and I can see the war raging in his eyes. He's lost. I've taken the power back, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. I'm not asking for your forgiveness, I continue, my voice quieter now, but firm. I'm not waiting for your approval. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. For my children. I'm done trying to fix a relationship that's already broken. He takes a step back, his face hardening as if a wall is going up. Fine, he mutters. If that's what you want. I don't need him to say anything else. The silence between us speaks louder than words ever could. I've made my decision, and I'm not looking back. I turn away from him and head toward the bedroom. But as I walk away, I feel it, the sense of power, of reclaiming something I had lost. I feel a weight lifting off my shoulders, a new clarity. In my mind, I've taken back control and I'm never letting it go. I'm done keeping this secret. I can't do it anymore. I've been protecting him, protecting his reputation, trying to shield everyone from the truth, my truth. But now I realize, it was never my job to protect him. I've been the one living a lie, covering up the cracks in our marriage, pretending everything was fine when it wasn't. I'm tired of carrying this weight alone. It's not just the affair that hurts. It's the constant lying. The way he looked me in the eye and made me believe I was crazy. He had me questioning my own sanity. I don't know how I let it go on for so long. But today, everything changes. I can't keep this inside anymore. I pick up the phone, my hands shaking. My heart is racing, but I know this is the right thing to do. I have to tell someone. I have to tell everyone. I dial Sarah's number. She's been my best friend for years, the one person I could always trust. The phone rings, and with each passing second, I feel the weight on my chest lift just a little bit. Hello? Her voice sounds warm, familiar. I feel a tear slip down my cheek, but I don't wipe it away. This is happening, Sarah, I say, my voice barely above a whisper. I need to tell you something. I can't keep hiding it anymore. James, he's been having an affair. There's a long pause on the other end of the line. I brace myself for the inevitable questions, the shock. But she doesn't say anything. She's just silent. Waiting for me to continue. Do you remember how I kept saying that things felt off? I ask, choking on the words. I wasn't imagining it. I found out a while ago. And I've been holding on to it, keeping it a secret, thinking that maybe things would get better, but they haven't. Wait, what? You found out? Her voice is sharper now, concern lacing her words. How? When? I feel the anger rise. In my chest, hot and uncontrollable. It doesn't matter how. I found the texts. I saw everything. And I can't keep living this way, pretending like nothing's wrong. God, I'm so sorry, I had no idea, she says softly. But you don't have to carry this alone. You're not alone in this. I let out a shaky breath. I'm telling my family next. I can't keep hiding this. I can't pretend anymore. You're right, she says, the conviction in her voice like a lifeline. It's time for the truth to come out. You deserve to be free from this, you deserve the truth. I nod, even though she can't see me. She's right. I've been so afraid of the fallout, of what people might think, of what it would mean for our family. But I can't carry this burden any longer. I can't keep protecting him when he's done this to me. I call my sister next. I don't even let her say hello. I just blurt it out, the words tumbling out of me in a rush. Rachel, I have to tell you something. James has been cheating on me. I found out months ago, and I've been keeping it a secret. I can't keep living like this. Her response is immediate. She's furious, protective, and for the first time in weeks, I feel like someone's got my back. You've been carrying this by yourself? She says, her voice shaking with anger. You should have told me sooner. We're family. You don't have to go through this alone. I know, I whisper. But I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to admit that everything I thought was real was just a lie. You're going to be okay, she says, and I can hear the tears in her voice. I'm so sorry. But you've done the right thing. You're not the one who should be ashamed. I take a deep breath. I have no idea what's going to happen next, but for the first time in a long time, I feel a weight lifting off my shoulders. I'm not hiding anymore. I'm not ashamed anymore. Later that evening, I finally tell my parents. I've been avoiding this moment for weeks, terrified of their disappointment, their judgment. But when I look at their faces, when I see the pain in their eyes, I realize something. They're not angry at me. They're angry at him. They're furious that their daughter has been treated this way, that they didn't see it, that they didn't protect me. My father speaks first. We're going to get through this. Whatever happens, we're here for you. You don't have to do this alone. I'm not going to, I say, my voice steady. I've told people. I'm telling everyone I know. He's not getting away with this. They're quiet for a moment, the weight of the words sinking in. My mother reaches for my hand, her grip tight, reassuring. You're strong. You're going to be fine. I nod, feeling the first spark of strength deep inside me. For the first time in months, I'm not looking for James to fix things. I'm not waiting for him to apologize and make it all better. The truth is out. The affair is exposed, and I'm finally free. Later that night, after I've talked to everyone I can think of, friends, family, anyone who would listen, I sit on the couch, my phone resting in my lap. It's strange. I've been holding on to this secret for so long, but now that it's out, it feels like a weight has been lifted from me. The betrayal still stings, but it's different now. It's not hidden in the dark anymore. It's out in the open, and I'm no longer the one who's ashamed. It's not revenge. I don't want that. What I want is justice. What I want is to be seen, to be heard, to reclaim my life. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if I'll ever trust again, or if I'll ever truly forgive him. But I do know this, I'm not going to let him control my story anymore. The truth is out now, and it's mine to own. I can't control what happens next, but I can control how I move forward. And I'm not backing down. Not anymore. I've been dreading this moment. I've been dreading seeing him, speaking to him, but I can't avoid it any longer. It's time. It's been time for a while, but now, finally, I'm ready. He's sitting on the couch when I walk into the living room, his face a mix of guilt and desperation. He looks up at me, as if he's waiting for the storm to hit, for me to scream, to break down, but I'm not that person anymore. Can we talk? He asks, his voice soft. It's like he's trying to keep the peace, trying to hold on to something that's already gone. I nod. There's no rush. I have nothing left to prove to him. I sit down across from him, keeping the distance between us. I can feel the weight of his gaze, but I don't let it affect me. I've spent too long letting him control how I feel. Today, that stops. I know you want to apologize again, I say calmly, my voice steady. I can't remember the last time I spoke to him like this, without the rage, without the heartbreak, but it's like I've finally shed that skin. But I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't need it. He looks at me, confusion flickering in his eyes. What do you mean? I've been trying to make things right, I swear I have. No, I shake my head, cutting him off gently. You've been trying to make things right for you, not for me. Not for us. His expression falters, and I can see him struggling to find the words. I didn't mean for any of this to happen, he says, his voice barely above a whisper. I let out a soft sigh, one that I'm not even sure he can hear. I know. You never meant to hurt me. But you did. And that's what matters now. The damage is done, James. There's no taking it back. His eyes drop to the floor for a moment. I can see the regret in his posture, the way his shoulders slump. But it doesn't move me the way it once would have. I don't need him to feel sorry for me anymore. I don't need anything from him. You don't understand, he says, his voice rising with frustration. I messed up. I made a huge mistake, and I've been trying to fix it. I've been trying to fix us. I hold up my hand, stopping him. No. You don't understand. I've been trying to fix myself. I've been trying to fix me. I don't need you to fix anything. I need to move on. I need to heal, and I can't do that while I'm still caught up in your mess. He opens his mouth to respond, but I stop him again. Don't, I say. I'm done listening to your excuses. I'm done waiting for you to change. This isn't about us anymore. It's about me. About what I need. The room falls silent. For a long moment, and it's not the uncomfortable silence it used to be. It's a different kind of silence now, one that feels like peace. It feels like closure. I'm not asking for your forgiveness, I say, meeting his eyes. I'm not asking for anything. I've already forgiven myself. His eyes flicker with something I can't place, guilt, sadness, maybe even fear. He opens his mouth, but I cut him off again, this time more firmly. I'm not your emotional punching bag anymore, James. I'm not your problem to fix. I'm not going to be your victim. Not anymore. He looks at me like I've slapped him. But I don't care. I'm not the same woman I was when this all started. That woman would have apologized, would have begged him to love her again. But I don't need that anymore. I found my strength. I've spent too long trying to make this work, trying to make you work, I continue, my voice steady. And I've lost myself in the process. But not anymore. I'm done. I'm moving forward. I stand up, feeling the weight in my chest lift as I do. I'm not angry. I'm not devastated. I'm just done. This is it. This is where everything changes. I'll be fine, I say, more to myself than to him. I don't need you to fix anything. I've got this. I don't need you anymore. He looks up at me, his eyes pleading, his lips trembling like he wants to say something, anything, to stop me, but I don't give him the chance. I've already made my decision. There's nothing more he can say. I turn toward the door, my heart racing with something I can't quite explain. It's not fear. It's not sadness. It's something else entirely. Something that feels like freedom. I'm done, James, I say quietly, as I reach for the door. I'm walking away from this. From you. From all of it. The door closes behind me with a finality that echoes through the silence. I don't look back. I don't need to. It's been weeks since I walked away. Days bleed into each other, sometimes moving too fast, sometimes too slow, but every day feels like a step forward, even when I don't want to take it. I'm rebuilding my life, brick by brick, though sometimes it feels like I'm still standing in the rubble of everything I thought I knew. But I'm not frozen anymore. I'm not stuck. I look at my kids, and I see the adjustment in their eyes. Ethan's starting to smile again, his energy brighter. Madison, who's always been so perceptive, seems calmer. It's like she knows things are better now. I'm here for them, really here. Not distracted by the chaos of my own life, but present. It's not perfect. There are moments when the sadness creeps in, when the weight of it all feels too much. But I push through. I have to. They need me to be strong. And for the first time, I realize that I am stronger than I've ever been. Mom, Ethan says one morning as I'm making breakfast. Can we go to the park today? I smile at him, trying not to let the tears that are always threatening to fall show. Of course we can, buddy, I reply. We'll make a whole day of it. Madison looks up from her cereal, her eyes sharp, but softened with a quiet understanding. She doesn't speak right away, but I can feel her watching me, like she's checking for cracks, testing how far I've come. I look back at her and nod, a silent reassurance. It's funny how much she's had to grow up in such a short time, but I can see her beginning to reclaim the light in her eyes that I thought had been lost. It's hard to explain, but it feels like we're all healing together, even if we're still hurt. Later, while we're walking through the park, Madison walks beside me, her steps slow, thoughtful. Mom, she says, her voice quiet. I'm glad things are better. Between us, I mean. I can't help but smile, feeling a weight lift off my chest. Me too, honey. It's a little better every day, right? She nods, her face breaking into a rare smile. It's a smile I haven't seen in so long, one that shows that maybe she's starting to trust again. Starting to believe that things will be okay. The healing is slow. I can't lie and say it's been easy. There are moments when I still feel like I'm falling apart inside, but I'm starting to realize that the pieces don't need to be perfectly aligned to still be whole. I'm learning to take things one day at a time. I started therapy last week. I wasn't sure at first. I wasn't sure what I would get out of it. But sitting there, talking to someone who listens without judgment, without expectation, has been eye-opening. I'm learning to unpack the things I didn't realize I was carrying. It's exhausting, but it's also freeing. You're doing well, my therapist tells me during one of our sessions. You've made a lot of progress in a short amount of time. You're reconnecting with parts of yourself that were buried under everything else. I sit there, looking at her, surprised by how much I'm starting to believe her. I didn't even know I had parts of myself left to find, I confess. I thought I was just a mom and a wife. That's it. She smiles softly. You're so much more than that. You're learning to be you again. And that's a huge step. I leave her office that day feeling different. Like I'm finally starting to remember who I am beyond everything that's happened. Beyond the woman who spent years trying to fix someone else. I'm learning to live for myself. To do things for me. One evening, I reach out to an old friend. Someone I haven't spoken to in years. We used to be so close, but over time, life took us in different directions. I never thought I'd have the courage to reconnect, but tonight, I find her on social media and send a message. Hey, I know. It's been forever, but I've been thinking about you. I'm doing okay now. I'd love to catch up sometime. I don't know why I'm so nervous. Maybe it's the fear of rejection. But I need this. I need to feel connected to the world again, she replies within minutes. I've missed you. Let's meet up soon, okay? It feels like a small victory, but it's huge. It's a reminder that I'm not alone in this world. That I can still find joy, even after everything that's happened. As the days pass, I start doing things I haven't done in a long time. I begin painting again, the way I used to when I was younger. I take long walks alone, enjoying the quiet, feeling the fresh air fill my lungs. I start to reclaim the hobbies and the parts of myself that I abandoned, all in the name of trying to make someone else happy. I'm learning that I don't need anyone else to make me feel whole. I'm learning that I'm enough, just as I am. James hasn't reached out. And I don't expect him to. I'm not waiting for him anymore. I don't need his approval or his words to make me feel validated. I don't need him to apologize anymore. I've found my own peace, my own voice, my own worth. One afternoon, as I'm sitting on the couch with a cup of tea, I look at my kids. They're playing, laughing, and I realize something. I'm doing this. I'm doing it for them, yes, but also for me. I'm building something stronger than I ever thought possible. Mom, can we go on a trip this summer? Ethan asks, looking up at me with hopeful eyes. Just the three of us. I smile, the thought of that question warming my heart. Of course we can. We'll go wherever you want. For the first time in a long time, I realize that I'm capable of more than I ever thought. I can do this. I can live for myself. I can build a future without looking back. I don't know what's next, but for the first time, I'm excited to find out. It's quiet now. Not the kind of quiet that makes you feel alone, but the kind that comes with peace. The kind that makes you realize you've come through something hard, and it's over, but you're still standing. I sit at the kitchen table, my mug of tea cooling beside me, and look out the window. The morning light is soft, warm, and the world outside feels like it's moving on, just like me. The past months feel like a blur, a mix of pain and healing, of loss and rediscovery. But now, finally, it feels like it's done. Not the story, but my part in it. The ending I couldn't have written, the one that didn't come with a neat bow, but with something real. Something that felt real. I hear Madison's footsteps behind me, soft but steady. She doesn't say anything at first, but I can feel her presence like a calm reminder of how far we've come. Mom, can we talk? Her voice is gentle, like she's still testing the waters of our new reality. I smile without turning around. Of course. What's on your mind? She pulls out the chair across from me and sits down. There's a stillness in her that wasn't there before, an unspoken strength. It's like she's not waiting for permission anymore. Like she knows what she's capable of, just like I do now. I just wanted to say, she begins, her voice a little shaky but determined, I'm really proud of you. The words hit me harder than I expect. My throat tightens, and I can feel the tears threatening, but I blink them back. I don't need to cry anymore. I've cried enough for all the years we've been through. Now, I just need to breathe. I'm proud of you, too, I say, my voice thick. We've both come a long way. She smiles softly, and I can see the weight in her eyes lifting. She's not carrying the same burden anymore. Neither am I. The cracks we've both been dealing with have started to heal, even if the scars will remain. I think we're going to be okay, she says quietly, looking out the window, too. I'm starting to believe that. I nod, my heart swelling with something I can't quite name. It's relief, it's peace, it's hope. For the first time in a long time, I believe it, too. I can't go back. None of us can. But the future, it's still ours to shape. A few days ago, I met with a lawyer. I had to. There are still things to work through, financial stuff, custody details, but it's different now. I'm different. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not stuck in the past. I'm moving forward. And that's the part one hold on to. That's the part one cling to when things get hard again. The phone buzzes on the counter, interrupting my thoughts. It's a text from Sarah, thinking of you. We should get together soon. I can't help but smile. I haven't seen her in a while, and the idea of reconnecting, of surrounding myself with people who care about me, feels like a small victory. There's still so much to rebuild, but this is the beginning. I type back a quick reply, yes. Let's plan something soon. I need it. I set the phone down and take a deep breath. The weight is lighter now, the kind of weight that comes from knowing that I'm in control of my own story. I don't need to ask anyone for permission. I don't need to wait for anyone to validate me. I've learned that I can be enough on my own. There's a knock at the door, and I stand up, walking toward it without hesitation. I open it to find Ethan standing there, a soccer ball in his hands, his face full of that boyish enthusiasm that always reminds me that there's still so much innocence left in the world. Mom, he says, his voice excited, can we go play outside? I need a goalie for practice. I laugh softly, feeling the old familiar warmth spread through me. Of course we can. Let me just grab my shoes. As I step outside, I take a moment to look up at the sky. The clouds are parting, the sun is shining through, and it feels like the world is opening up for me. For all of us. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not broken anymore. I'm ready for whatever comes next. Ready, Mom? Ethan calls, bouncing the soccer ball in his hands. He's so full of energy, so eager to live. I can't help but laugh as I jog toward him, my heart light. My steps sure, ready, I call back. I'm not the same person I was when I first met him. I've changed, evolved, and while the scars remain, they no longer control me. I've learned to love myself again. I've learned that the truth, no matter how painful, is better than living in a lie. And I've learned that I don't need anyone to define me. Not him. Not anyone. I've spent so much time trying to hold everything together, trying to fix what was broken. But now, I realize that it was never about fixing it all. It was about finding my own strength, my own voice. As I kick the soccer ball toward Ethan, I feel something inside me shift again. A small but steady feeling of hope. This is just the beginning. There's still joy to be found. Still life to be lived. Still dreams to chase, and I'm ready.